Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to run down the top 10 most submitted books into CGC. And this is a video that I do every single month, but if you've been paying attention, I actually took a month off. And part of the reason for that is that the June, July, and August data look virtually the same. And so last month, I did not talk about the August data because all of the previous months have essentially looked the same. I will tell you that this data for the month of September looks a little different, and that's why I wanted to spend some time in this video talking about what it is that is being submitted into CGC. Now, one of the important shifts that has occurred this month, we are seeing 11 of the top 20 books into CGC were actually printed in the 90s and the 80s. And this was a little bit of a shift because over the last few months, we were seeing more books from the 2000s. But now in the month of September, 11 of the 20 are actually from the 90s and the 80s. The balance, of course, are specifically from 2021. The other noteworthy shift is that 7 of the top 20 books actually come from Image, Boom, and DC. And this too is a little bit of a change because Marvel for the last several months has been dominating this list. And now we see 3 books from Image, 3 books from Boom, and 1 from DC on the top 20. And we're going to walk through some of these books because some of them actually crack the top 10. With that said, we are about to get to that top 10, but before we do so, I have to acknowledge the sponsor of this video, Hip Comic. If you are not familiar with Hip Comic, I want to encourage you to visit this website. This platform is built for collectors by collectors, and they have a wonderful assortment of comics available on their platform, from books starting at 99 cents as part of an auction all the way up to the major keys and grails. There is a link in the description of this video. I encourage you to check it out because I think that you're going to be impressed with what you find there. With that said, let's get to the list. Number 10 on the list is Moon Knight issue number 1 from 1980. Month after month, this book is edging closer to 10,000 total graded copies on the CGC census. At present, there are a total of 9,911 total copies. According to Go Collect, the value of this book has dropped dramatically. A 9.8 was recently sold on eBay for $376. And I know what you might be thinking. You're probably thinking that this is a one-off. It is not. There are actually several other sales that have occurred in the high 300s, also in the 400s and the 500s. The value of this book is definitely fluctuating, and potentially we will see this change if they ever announce a second season of Moon Knight, or maybe there is a movie. Who knows what Kevin Feige and the team are planning for this character. Number 9 on the list is X-Men issue number 4, volume 2, the first appearance of Omega Red. And what I will tell you about this book is that it has appeared on the list off and on for several months. But the value of this book is declining. In fact, what we are seeing is that the value of this book at present is very close to what it was back in 2020. At present, this book has a value of $140, and with more than 12,251 total copies on the census, it will be interesting to see if this book continues to make its way into CGC to be graded, or if people start to shut it down as a result of the value declining. Number 8 on the list is no stranger to this list. We are talking about Venom Lethal Protector issue number 1 from 1993. There are nearly 17,500 total copies of this book on the census, yet it appears to be holding its value. When you look at the numbers, what you see is that the 90-day and 30-day average for this book at a 9.8 is sitting at $130. While values are down from their highs, my guess is that people will continue to submit this book in to be graded. Since the last video that we did, the census count on this book has grown by more than 670 total copies. Number 7 on the list is the one and only DC book to make the entire list, and we are of course talking about Nice House on a Lake issue number 1. What I will tell you is that this book has been on the list for a while, and its value has continued to slide downward starting in August of 2021 to the present day. At present, the 9.8 is selling for less than $38 on average. And if you're thinking about submitting this book, you may want to consider picking it up already graded, because at $38, you might be in negative territory if you decide to send this one in. Number 6 on the list is X-Men issue number 1, volume 2. And this is the Jim Lee connecting cover. Specifically, we think the Magneto cover based upon the date and the values associated with this book. At present, there are nearly 15,000 total graded copies on the CGC census across all of those connecting covers, which isn't exactly surprising given that this is the book that has sold the most copies ever at 8.2 million copies. When you dig into the data, what you see is that this book is also close to its value back in 2020, with a 30-day average price of less than $84 for a 9.8. Number 5 on the list is another Moon Knight book, specifically issue number 1, but this one is from September of 2021. Based upon the date, I believe that this is the second print 1 in 25 variant by John Romita Jr. that is flowing into CGC. At present, I was unable to find any sales data within Go Collect, but I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for this one, especially if it pops up on the list next month. Number 4 on the list is Spawn's Universe issue number 1, and at present this book is only showing a total of 809 total copies on the CGC census, which seems extremely low given this book's position on the list and the fact that it's been on and off the list for several months. This book has a 30-day average value of just $37 with a 30-day high of $50. And generally speaking, the value of this book at a 9.8 has also been on a downward slope since September of 2020. Number 3 on the list is another Image book, another Todd McFarlane book. This one is Spawn issue number 1. And no one is surprised that this one makes the list again, given the popularity of Todd McFarlane and also the news that he has actually hired a couple of writers to come on board to start working on the script for the Spawn movie. At present, there are 25,666 total copies of this book on the census. Yes, that is the correct number and a very fitting number given that this is a book that deals with Hell Spawn. While down from its high water mark, this book is maintaining its value and is likely to continue given the popularity of Todd McFarlane and, as I mentioned, the news about the script being developed for the Spawn movie. The average value for this book 1 year ago was $204, and at present, the 30-day average for this book is $201. Number 2 on the list is the Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 30. This is the exclusive signature series book from the BAM box. Number 1, yet again, is the first appearance of Miles Morales, but this one is specifically Ultimate Fallout issue number 4, the facsimile edition. At present, there are roughly 2,000 graded copies of this book on the census, with roughly 330 of them being sold and changing hands. At a 9.8, this book has a 30-day average value of $50. And the big question here is, will this book continue to be on the list? My gut says that it will be. With that said, that concludes our list of the most submitted books in the CGC. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I want to encourage you to give this video a thumbs up. I also have to acknowledge the sponsor of this video, Hip Comic. They put me in a position every single month to be able to create this content and release for you all. I want to encourage you to click on the link in the description, head over to their website, and check it out. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and tap that button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content I release here on the channel. Take care.